What's up, guys? Spot on May here. UFC Fight Night. Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa takes place in less than 24 hours. Also, we got the NETFLIX MVP card, Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. So I will do a little bit of a breakdown on that one at the end here, but first I'm going to get started with the UFC Fight Night. I'm going to do a whole card prediction breakdown. Here we go, starting with the early prelim opener of Shanna Bannon versus, one sec, scrolling down, there we go, Nicole Cagliari. I'm going Shanna Bannon. Every time I pick Shanna Bannon, she's won. So she's a big underdog here, plus 235. But she's not terrible. I think she's an all right, counter wrestler. She has decent finishing potential on the feet too. I think she's quite decent. So I'm gonna pick her to win a decision. On up the card, Daniel Perez versus Louis Garoli. Both guys haven't gotten, their feet. Like, both haven't had a really successful run in the UFC. Louis Garoli, I don't think he's won a fight. I think he's 0-3, He might have won one. But I think he's going to win this one. Daniel Perez is really old. He's an unk, and he doesn't really have any finishing potential on the feet. And if you're fighting Louis Garoli, his biggest kryptonite is finishing potential on the feet. He doesn't really have the best chin, but here he's fighting a pretty much a pure wrestler in Daniel Perez. He has some decent combinations on the feet, but mainly his bread and butter is the grappling, and Louis Garoli is a really good counter wrestler. Really good takedown defense, and I think he's going to show that. And I think he's going to get a finish here. No, he's not. 30-27 decision, clear win. He's not really that good, but it is what it is at the end of the day. He might finish him. I doubt it. I think he's just going to be able to sprawl the takedowns. Maybe put up some submission attempts, attempt a guillotine, stuff like that. He'll do the small things to win. He'll be punching in the clinch. He'll grit down a little more, and he'll win it 30-27. I do believe. On up the card, Alice Ardaline versus Polyana Viana. Now, Polyana Viana has been around. She's been around the block, going to different gyms, talking to fighters, doing cardio with Pereira, cardio with Covington. She's really locked in on the game. But I do think she's going to win this fight. I think she has more finishing potential. And I think at women's MMA, that's a pretty big factor. I also think if it goes to a close decision, they'll just give it to her. Alice Ardaline's really old. She hasn't really shown me anything too impressive at all. With Polyana Viana, at least you have some finishing potential there. And I think she'll get a first-round finish, either submission, TKO. I don't fucking know. Up the card, Cody Brundage versus Andre Petroski. This is a really close fight. Really low-level close fight. Two NPCs of the middleweight division. The jobbers of the middleweight division. Petroski is really sick grappling. He really does, but I can never pick him to win a fight. He got KO'd by a fucking hip. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he shot in the takedown on Jacob Malkoun, and Malkoun didn't stuff it, didn't do anything. Petroski headbutted his hip and got KO'd. That is a true statement that it actually happened. I'm not making it up. I'm not exaggerating anything. He shot a takedown and got KO'd by a hip. And I think Brundage, he has some thud in the feet. I think that'll be good enough. He's a good counter wrestler. He shucked off Bo Nickel. If you can shuck off Bo Nickel, I think you can shuck off Andre Petroski at least once. And I think if you do that, he'll have the ability to land something on the feet and clip him and put him out in round one. Cody Brundage just keeps his job. Jesus. Good for him, though. We'll be rooting for Cody Brundage for show. Caitlin Vieira versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I actually think Cavalcanti's really good. I think she's really technically sound, and I think she's going to win this fight 30-27 against Caitlin Vieira, who is kind of just a big girl. Like, that's it. She kind of just uses her size, uses her weight, muscles up people and gets the cage, doesn't really get grappling off, doesn't really have good boxing, Doesn't really have any finishing potential. He kind of just plods on the feet, gets him against the cage and keeps him there. And knees to the thigh, you know, tappy shots. And I think Cavalcanti will be technical enough to stay off the fence and keep it at range, keep her on the jab, land some leg kicks, 1-2, circle, 1-2, circle. And I think she'll be able to do that, kind of play the matador a little bit here, and piece up Caitlin Vieira to a 29-28 split decision. It probably will be split decision. Caitlin Vieira is a plodster. She'll plod, you know. She'll grab her against the cage. She will have some moments against the cage, but I think Cavalcanti will do enough damage on the feet to neglect that. Yeah, Cavalcanti, she's really solid. I think she could be a girl who fights Kayla Harrison for sure. She's really solid. Tommy Grant versus Artur Miniev. Undefeated. Both guys are undefeated. Both making their debut. I don't remember if Artur, because I know Artur's taking this one on short notice. Miniev, did he win on the Contender Series? Because I know Tommy Powell did, but let me see here. Is he coming off a win on the Contender Series? No, he didn't fight in the Contender Series. Okay. So this is a guy making his debut. He hasn't really fought the best comp outside the UFC, and he's taking it on short notice. Kana doesn't really have a good physique there. I'm looking at their physiques. Tommy Grant's a little more in shape. We're really breaking it down to the bare bones of it. No, but I think Tommy Grant, you know, he has finishing potential. He got a guillotine on the Contender Series. I'm gonna search it in 1 sec. I'm trying to remember. I want to remember if I'm remembering that right. I'm pretty sure he got a guillotine on the Contender Series. Apology. Jesus Christ, I can't spell. There we go. If I'm thinking of the right guy, he should have been the guy who got a guillotine on the Contender Series. Yes, he did. Over Adam Livingston, who's actually kind of solid. You know, 6-0, good record, better than anyone that Artur's fought. He has a fight right now. That's crazy. Sorry, got distracted there. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Tommy Grant getting it done here. Probably by I'm trying to think, because I do think he'll finish him. I'm gonna say KO. I'm gonna say KO in round 2. I think R2 will be tough. He'll have that grit to stay in it, but he will eventually get KO'd in the second round. On to Tuco Tacos versus Ivo Urslan. 2 NPCs of the light heavyweight division. But hold on now. I'm looking at Tuco Tacos. That is not the Tuco Tacos that fought in his last fight. That man used to be bald. He used to look just like Ivo Urslan. He has leveled up. He has unlocked the ability to change his fighter, his attire, not his attire, his appearance. You know, he unlocked that. He unlocked a new hairstyle. He's got some aura to him, coming off a win. Yeah, Tuco Tacos is going to win this one. Ivo Urslan is not UFC caliber, man. He's just not. Unfortunate. They're going to Croatia. He ain't going to be able to get on there. That's so unfortunate. He missed his card, man. He really did. He missed the chance to fight in his home crowd. Best we could do is the Apex kid. Ivo was actually the favorite. I think Tucos is a really good underdog here, but he always is kind of an underdog. You know, he's always that guy. Everyone counts him out, but dude, he's got some aura to him now. He's got a nice flow going. He's got the lettuce out. Got a big old beard. Looking in better shape. Last time he showed up, he was a little flabby. Yeah, Tuco Tacos. Oh, no, he's going to get a 29-28. 29-28 split decision for Tuco Tacos. On to the main card opener. Nikolai Vretnikov versus Chaos Williams. I don't think Nikolai Vretnikov is good at all, and I think Chaos Williams has fucking freakish power. You know, he's not really good. He kind of just throws shit. But against a guy like Nikolai Vretnikov, I think he will land the first round KO. Vretnikov, not much to say about him, man. He KO'd Nico Price. Went to a really close split decision with Francisco Prado, who is like a featherweight at welterweight. Had a close fight with Danny Barlow. That was kind of the thing that put him on the map. Like, hey, this guy's pretty good. Got destroyed by Austin. What's that guy's name? Austin Vanford. Paige Van Zandt's husband. Beat the shit out of him on the ground. Chaos Williams did get... don't want to say that word. He did get assaulted in his last fight by Gustafsson. The Swedish dude who just... The former neo-Nazi who just beat the shit out of the guy. And it was... he let all his inner rage out on Chaos Williams there. And it was like one of the worst beatdowns I've ever seen. It was a fucking... He literally got assaulted. Like... He should have went to the police after that one because it was something else. But he does have really good KO power, and I think he's going to land one on Ritnikov's chin and put him out bad. And probably that'll be it for Ritnikov in the UFC. Then again, they didn't cut him after he tried to fight Vanderford after the fight. After he got fucking destroyed, he went over and tried to fight him after the fight was over. So they kept him around. He's from Ukraine. Maybe that's why. I didn't know he was from Ukraine. I thought he was from, like, fucking... I don't fucking know. Anyway, up the card, Timmy Kwamba versus Brando Sopaj. This is a sick fight. It comes down to, do you think... does Timmy Kwamba have the ability to stuff the takedowns of Sopaj or not? Because Timmy Kwamba is really sick on the feet. He is really slick striking, but Sopaj, man, he can mix it up. I think I'm gonna lean to the side that can mix it up. If he can keep up with the striking, and if he starts to get outdone, he can mix in the grappling, get a takedown, secure a round. I don't think Timmy Kwamba has the ability to do that. He could chin him. Sopaj has been put out brutally before, but that was by Vinicius Oliveira, who is a fucking welterweight fighting at bantamweight. So I'll give him, and that was on short notice for Sopaj. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I just think he's going to be able to get the grappling off. I think he's going to have a little bit of a grappling clinic. They'll get scrappy on the feet in times, and right at the end of the exchange, he'll shoot in a takedown, and that'll kind of cement the fight for him. 29-28 for Brando Sopaj. On to Mageus. Whoa, not Mageus. Monteus Boskowskis versus Christian Edwards, a.k.a. a guy they just got off the street. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Boskowskis was supposed to fight Bellato, and that was actually the second time it was booked. They were supposed to fight. I can't remember when they were supposed to fight, a couple months ago. Bellato pulled out. They rebook it for this card, and Bellato pulls out again, so they get Christian Edwards off the fucking street. 8-4. He's going to get fucking destroyed, I do think. Boskowskis is good, man. He's a really good technical striker. And I think he's going to fucking KO this guy in the first round. It's a catch weight. Boskowskis is a fucking big light heavyweight, dude. That's not going to affect him at all. That'll be, if anything, that'll be good for him. He'll be able to, not worry about the weight cut as much. He'll be able to come in a little bigger. And this fight has been, it's been announced for like a week or two now. So it's not like Mateus was cutting weight and they were like, oh no, it's a catch weight now. Like Steve Ursag versus Ode Osborne. This is one where it's like, you have 2 weeks. You don't need to cut weight. Eat good, get good, hydration and everything like that. He's going to come really fresh and get a first-round KO over Christian Edwards, get a 100K bonus, and get out. That's what I think is going to happen there. On to the featured fight of the card, Malcolm Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. Juan Diaz is actually really solid. He got a fucking brutal spinning elbow KO in the Contender Series. Probably the brutalest KO of last year. UFC fucking won everything combined. That was probably the most brutal KO of the year. It was disgusting. It made me nauseous when I watched it live. No, it didn't. But, hypothetically, it could have if you were someone who is prone to nausea. Because I thought that guy died. I can't remember the guy's name who he fought in the Contender Series. It was some Asian guy, but he nearly decapitated him with a spinning elbow. But Malcolm Wellmaker is really good. And he had a really close fight with Ethan Ewing, which is impressive because Ethan Ewing is very good. And Malcolm Wellmaker has vicious KO power. I think he's going to go up there and get a third-round KO. I think Juan Diaz will make it close. I think people will be like, hold on now. Because I think a lot of people are expecting Wellmaker to go in here and just completely destroy Juan Diaz. But the odds are actually close. minus 260 for Wellmaker. So he's like a moderately sized favorite, which makes sense. But I think a lot of people, when they see this matchup, they just think Wellmaker's going to get a first-round KO. I think Juan Diaz is going to surprise a lot of people. And he'll make it close for 2, but eventually Wellmaker will find the chin in the 3rd round and put him down pretty brutally, honestly. Knowing Wellmaker's history, it'll probably be a brutal KO. But what goes around comes around. Diaz got a brutal KO in his last fight. Now it's time for him to get baptized by Wellmaker. Yeah, a 3rd-round KO after a scrappy fight. Wellmaker finds it. On to the co-main event. Doo Ho Choi versus Daniel Santos. No fucking way Daniel Santos missed weight again. Is that real? I just looked at the weight. I was going to make a joke about him missing weight. There's no way he missed weight again, right? I'm trying to find his weight because it just said that he weighed like his weight was 250. Arnold Allen. Okay, no, he made weight. Jesus Christ. I thought he missed weight again. I was going to say cut him from the fucking sport. That's his last fight. He weighed in at 250. Jesus Christ. I thought he weighed in at 250 for this one again. I was about to say. All right. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Doo Ho Choi. I do think Doo Ho Choi is going to win this one. By KO. Daniel Santos, of course, coming off that giant win against Zombie Jr., who was doing good against Daniel Santos in round 1. He clipped Daniel Santos in round 1. But, backing up with his fucking hands down at his waist. Doo Ho Choi is not going to do that. Even though he does have a tendency to back straight up, which I'm kind of scared about, because I could see Daniel Santos just clipping him on the chin. Because Doo Ho Choi has been KO'd before by Charles Jourdain. So there is some threat of Doo Ho Choi getting slimed out here, but he's really good, man. He's really good, and he's really underrated. He's good. He's great everywhere. I'm going to say that. He has great grappling, great striking. This is a guy who's going to be fucking ranked highly. Doo Ho Choi is going to be a highly ranked featherweight. He's on the older side now. He had that a big break in his career. I'm going to see how old he is. I think he is 35 now, so maybe he won't get high at, ranked that high, but he's really, really, really good. I think he has potential to be like a ranked fighter in the division. It's just unfortunately he's really old, and that's pretty much it. That's the only bad thing I have to say about Doo Ho Choi. He backs up straight out sometimes, but that was a long time ago. I think he's better than that now. He's evolved. His grappling has improved immensely. He has great offensive grappling. He showed that against Nate Landwehr, who is not an easy guy to grapple. Like, Nate Landwehr has really good sound and solid grappling, and he fucking destroyed him on the ground. Beat Kyle Nelson. He's back. Daniel Santos is on a good streak here too. Also, he did just destroy a South Korean guy. But I don't think Zombie Jr. is as good as Doo Ho Choi. I think Zombie Jr. is a devolved version of Doo Ho Choi. Doo Ho Choi is like the next evolution of Zombie Jr. And I think he's going to put that work on Daniel Santos and TKO him in round 2. On to the main event. Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. This is a really good fight, and Melquizael Costa is a very good fighter. I want to say that first of all. But we are Arnolding our Allen to an Arnold Allen 49-46 unanimous decision. Let's go! I think Arnold Allen's really good, man. He only loses to the best of the best, and though I think Melquizael Costa is very good, he's not the best of the best, Arnold Allen had that fucking close fight with Monzo Everlove, which he should have won. That was a robbery. And he, you know, what was I going to say? I just completely lost my train of thought. He should have finished Evloev, you know. The knees to a downed opponent who wasn't downed. Mark Goddard destroyed that fight for him because he was landing brutal knees on Evloev, which were legal at the time. And if that fight happened now, it would be completely legal. But, you know, Mark Goddard's it up. Since then, he's beaten Giga Chikadze, lost to Gene Silva in his last fight. But that was a close fight. You know, Gene Silva, you know, we all remember the third round and him jumping off his fucking back. But that's like the image we remember. But it was a really close fight. Not a really close fight. It was a close fight. And I think Gene Silva's fucking sick. Like, I think Gene Silva's really good. Arnold Allen has, like, really fast. I'm scared Arnold Allen's going to break his hand. I will say that. That is what I'm scared of. That's always the threat with Arnold Allen. But if he doesn't break his hands are really fast, and I think that'll kind of shock Melchus Costa. And I think for, like, the first couple rounds, Costa's going to be a little bit scared to engage because of the hand speed of Allen. And I think Allen will build up a lead and be able to coast off it a little bit and make Costa come to him. And, yeah, I think Arnold Allen's going to win at 49-46. Kind of outclass him. Gets close in rounds 4 and 5 or close. Maybe round 3 is like a turning point where Melchus Costa starts finding his range. You know, starts landing his kicks. But Arnold Allen gets the job done. On to the Netflix MVP card. This is going to be a quick one because a lot of these are just fucking, you know, a lot of these fights are just fucking, you know, go out there and destroy this guy. Starting with Adriano Moraes versus, what is that? Fumi Nakuta. Adriano Moraes is going to KO him in round 1. On to the main card. Junior Dos Santos versus Rebeles de Spain. Rebeles de Spain is going to fucking kill Junior Dos Santos in round 1. Sandalin Parnasse, I don't know how to say this guy's name, but he's really good. Versus Kenneth Cross. Parnasse is going to destroy this guy. On to, okay, here we go. This is I'll do this one last. Francis Ngannou is going to destroy Felipe Lins in round 1, and Ronda Rousey is going to submit Gina Carano in round 1 with an armbar, like as soon as the fight starts, under a minute. Okay, on to the people's main event, the best fight of the whole weekend, Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. Whoo! Yeah! This is a man's fight. In the welterweight division, 5 5-minute rounds. This is going to be the tale of two fights. It is either going to be a Mike Perry KO between rounds 1 and 3, or a vintage Nate Diaz marauding rounds 3, 4, and 5. Which do I think will happen? Early KO, or Nate marauds him to a decision? I'm going to go with Michael Perry getting a first-round KO against Nate Diaz. It pains me to do it. It does, but Mike Perry's in his prime. Did just get his shit rocked by Jake Paul not that long ago. And he did lose to... Who did he lose to in the UFC? I can remember. Tim Means. And the only guy Tim Means beat recently is Mike Perry and his kids. So, yeah, but I still think Mike Perry will win this one. Nate Diaz has just taken so much damage in his career, and he hasn't really looked the same since the Edwards fight, man. Like, the Edwards fight, he looked good, and he had that moment, but since then, every time he's shown up, it's just been like, he looks kind of geriatric out there, and he's just not the same. He's old, you know. How old is Nate Diaz now? He's got to be 40. He's 41. Yeah, man. Not a lot of 41-year-olds win UFC or win MMA fights. And that's just the sad truth of it. Mike Perry's 34. He's in his prime. This is a man in his prime versus a guy 7 years past his prime. Maybe not 7. That's putting it bluntly. But he's like 6 years past his prime at this point. You know? I can't pick Nate Diaz to win. It pains me to do it, but I gotta pick Mike Perry. Probably not a slime out. Probably a sad TKO that makes you go, ah. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Those are my predictions for this weekend of fights. Please like and subscribe. Please subscribe. All right, peace out.